Hello you two, I'm really glad you're here because I've had some really strange dreams last night and I woke up, I couldn't remember any of the dreams, I did some drawings. Well, one of them I kind of recognise, this one I kind of recognise. I thought that reminds me of a story. I'm just going to put this down here so you can see it. And the story it reminds me of is a really old story. It's about a frog who lives in a lake. And you can see there the frog, he's seen an incredibly rainbow coloured butterfly and it's really fascinating, never seen anything like that, and he's a frog, he wants to eat it, of course. So he starts to go after it, and because he's so intent on eating this frog, he forgets everything. He comes out of the lake, which he never ever does normally, and starts chasing the butterfly, and the butterfly goes up a hill near the lake. But by the time he's realised that he's up the hill, the butterfly's gone away, and he jumped and missed him, and he turns around and there he's looking at his lake. But he's never seen anything so beautiful in his entire life. He's never seen his lake, and he's thinking, what a beautiful, how lucky I am. What a beautiful place I live. And as he's thinking that, he sees a shadow coming across the lake, and it's the shadow, alas, of the frog hawk. And the frog hawk loves to eat frogs, of course, so now the frog's a bit scared, because normally he'd be in the lake, and the frog hawk would appear, he'd just dive underwater and he was gone. But now he's a bit stuck, so he just panics, starts running, hopping as fast as he can. As the frog hawk gets closer and closer, he's just hopping wildly through the grass, and he's actually hopping away from the lake, down the other side of the hill. So he just, he reaches a point where the frog hawk's so close, he just closes his eyes and he prays to the Lord of the Frogs. I'm such a fool, I live in such a beautiful place, I'll never leave it again if you just help me this one time, and if I find any poor frogs who need my help, I'll help them, I'll do anything. And he leaps, fully expecting it to be his last leap, and he finds himself falling, and the frog hawk's gone, and splash, he's in the bottom of a well. And he looks around. He's never been in a well before. He doesn't really know what it is, but he doesn't like it. It smells a bit funny. The water's a bit stagnant. It's not like the lake. And then the next thing appears this big frog. And the big frog is kind of looking at him like, what are you doing here? And so he says to the frog, he says, who are you? And the lake frog says, well, I'm from the lake. And the other frog, a lake? Oh, I never heard of a lake. What's a lake when it's at home? And he says, well, it's like a big body of water. He goes, big body of water? Because this frog who lives in the well, he's never seen anything bigger than the well. So he thinks, right, okay. He jumps in the lake and he swims in a little circle around the frog. He says, your lake, is it that big? And the lake frog goes, well, it's a bit bigger. He's a bit intimidated by this character. He'd rather just climb up the wall and escape, but he's a bit intimidated, so he's a bit stuck. So the well frog thinks, right, he swims in a little bit bigger circle. Your lake, is it that big? And the lake frog goes, well, it's a little bit bigger. So the well frog now, he's getting a bit angry, so he swims right round the wall of the well, touching the wall, and he goes, well, your lake can't be that big, can it? Because this well is the biggest thing in the world. In it. And the well frog, the lake frog, is now really scared, and he just wants to looking for an escape, but he remembers that he's promised the Lord of the Frogs that he'll help poor frogs, and then the next thing he sees a bug flying through the air, and he's a bit hungry, and it might be his last meal for all so he eats it, flies out his tongue, catches it, pulls it in and eats it. And then he's just about to be ready to be beaten up by the big well frog, and the well frog runs over the other side of the well and is really scared, shivering. And now the lake frog's a bit surprised and thinks, I must help this poor frog. He's a bit confused. So he swims over there and he goes, what's the matter? He goes, you big fat tongue, I've never seen anything like that in my life, that's horrible, get out of here. And he goes, he could now escape, but he remembers his promise. He said, no. He said, all frogs have these tongues. We use them to catch flying insects. He said, you've got one as well. No, not me. I just eat the slugs and stuff off the walls. He goes, he says, come here, let me have a look. The lake frog's getting quite bold now. He said, let me have a look at you. So he looks right into his face, opens his mouth and pulls out this great big long tongue, and it lollops out of the well frog's mouth. Well, he's never seen anything like that in his entire life. He goes, "Blimey, what?" Well, he can't talk properly. He rolls it back up. "Blimey, what the hell is that?" And he goes, "That's your tongue. You can use it to catch flying insects." So he starts to practice, and he realises he's had a rolled up tongue in his mouth all his life. And after a while, he catches a few insects and he likes it. He says, "Oh, these are tastier than slugs." So the lake frog says, "Yeah, but you've tasted nothing yet, mate. In our lake, we have all sorts of stuff you can catch. You know, butterflies, dragonflies, gadflies, you name it, we've got it." So this well frog, "Oh, that sounds all right now. I don't know what to do, but I don't really trust this." Oh, he's a bit confused. So the lake frog says, "Well, why don't you come and see?" He says, "Oh, well, can't get out of the well, can we? We're stuck here, aren't we?" He goes, "No, we've got stickers on our fingers, look." And he starts to climb up the wall of the well. The well frog's amazed again. He looks at the end of his fingers. He finds they stick to the wall. So he just starts following the lake frog up the wall blindly. Get to the top of the well, bright sunlight. Well frog's never seen anything like that in his life. And he's forgetting all about his fears and doubts and stuff. And he's thinking, "Oh, this is all kind of exciting, isn't it?" And he gets out and they start hopping away through the grass. It starts to rain. The well frog's never experienced rain. The lake frog's pointing out his tongue, catching the raindrops. "Oh, gosh, this is fresh water, you'll like this." The well frog starts doing that and getting all carried away and really liking it. And the next thing, the rainstorm goes away and a beautiful rainbow appears. And they stop and they sit there looking at the rainbow. And the well frog goes, "Wow, that is amazing. What is that?" And before the lake frog can explain, the rainbow butterfly that led the lake frog a merry dance reappears. And the well frog sees it and he wants to eat it, so he starts chasing it. And the lake frog, of course, knows that butterfly is pretty hard to catch, so he just hops the few more steps up to the top of the hill and sees his lake. And home sweet home, he looks at it, "Oh, I'm going home and I'm never going to leave again." Meanwhile, the well frog's been chasing this butterfly around the rain, missed it in all sorts of, can't catch it. The butterfly seems to be doing it on purpose, to tell you the truth, leading him a merry dance. And then it lands near a puddle. The well frog makes one last leap and lands in the puddle, and the butterfly flies away. So the well frog puts its finger in the puddle there, and it's, "Blimey, this must be the lake. This is ridiculous. This is nothing. This is so small. I knew I shouldn't have trusted that. I'm going to give that lake frog a piece of my mind." So he bounds over towards the lake frog to give him a piece of his mind. The lake frog's gazing at the lake, and he goes like this to start giving him a piece of his mind, and then he notices in the reflection in the lake frog's eye of the lake. So he looks, and his mouth falls open, and his tongue falls out. And the lake frog rolls his tongue back up, puts his mouth. He goes, Is that the lake?" And the lake frog goes, "Yeah." He says, "Well, why the hell didn't you tell me? Come on, let's go." And they bound off down the hill and they leap into the lake, and they never leave it again, neither the well frog nor the lake frog. And the well frog becomes very happy. He eats lots of new insects, and the lake frog keeps his promise to the Lord of the Frogs. There you go. So now that was the story I understood, but then I've got like these two drawings on, and I don't know what they're about. So can I give them to you, Anna?
Oh yes, please, John.
Here you go then.
Oh, John, that's very spooky. You said that your story came in a dream. And,
Yeah.
well, it's such a coincidence because I had a dream last night. And, I'm going to place the image here. Then all of you can see. And I'm going to try to remember my dream. In my dream, I was a little girl, and I was in my backyard where I used to live in Brazil, in the countryside. And an old Japanese lady who lived close to our neighborhood, she was telling me a story. And you are not going to believe it. The story was about two frogs. And not just about two frogs, and each one lived in different places, far away from each other. And they had a different lifestyle. One frog, he lived in a place called Osaka, if I'm not wrong. And the other frog lived in a place called Kyoto, in Japan. And one morning, not just me was having a dream, you, John, but the two frogs, they had the same dream. The two frogs, they dreamed that they were traveling to other places to see other cities, other possibilities. And the frog from Osaka, he was very happy with his dream. And he woke up. He loved his place, but he woke up thinking, what an opportunity. And you know, in Japan, they really believe in their dreams. They think that dreams are a message. And the frog from Osaka said, probably that's a sign that I should visit other places. The same with the other frog from Kyoto. A little bit different mood. The other woke up and said, oh, I had a dream. Oh, no. A dream means that I should do something about. And the dream was about to see another town. Oh, what a problem. I'm so okay here. And anyway, but both of them decided to go for a journey. One to visit the other town, Kyoto, and the Kyoto frog to visit the Osaka town. And they start the journey, bit by bit, step by step, jump by jump, bit by bit, step by step, jump, 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 jump. And one of the frogs was happy, and every single thing was a reason for him to celebrate. Oh, even if I don't get there, oh, it was worth it to see the flowers, to see the sun, to see the rainbow. For the other one was a little different story. Every single thing was an obstacle, was a problem. But finally, both of them got closer to a big mountain. And the mountain separated the two towns. There was no possibility to visit the other town without climbing the mountain. Well, the frog, who was really cool and happy, he thought, well, I'm going to learn a new skill, don't we? So I'm going to climb the mountain. And there was another thing in his mind. What kind of frogs I'm going to meet at the other town? And he was excited about, because being to another place means to meet different frogs. And he thought, oh, maybe they have things to teach me. And he was very keen to meet another frog. Oh, maybe they are larger, bigger. Oh, maybe they are not green as I am. Maybe they are pinky. The other one, the same, he said, oh no, now I have to climb that mountain. Oh no, I shouldn't eat so much the last years. Oh, I have to climb that mountain. And he had the same thing in his mind. Oh, I'm not sure about what kind of frog I'm going to meet at the other side. Oh, maybe they are nasty frogs. Maybe they are, violent. Maybe they are not green. Maybe they are black frogs. And there they climbed. Jump, climb, and got at the same time at the top of the mountain. And they walked and looked around and took their breath, because it was quite hard work. And they walked, and suddenly they touched something. And there was a kind of shock. I'm touching. And when they looked, each one looked to the other. what a coincidence. And more than that, guess what? Do you think one was black, another one was pink, another one was huge, another one... They were exactly the same. Exactly the same. And first they thought maybe we were looking to a mirror. No. And then they realized there was another frog. Introduced themselves. Oh, hello, my friend. And told the story. And told about the dream. And told about, well, with different versions about the journey. That for one of them was hard, for other was a joy. And they spoke and they talk and they talk. And then comes to the point that they thought, wait a minute. We are going to have such a difficult journey to cross to the other town, to visit the other town, and then the journey back. Should be a way that we could see the town from here. It's such a high mountain. And they tried, and they tried, and they tried. And do you know your picture, John? Do you know the picture that you gave me? What a coincidence. That was exactly what they done. They hugged each other. They went to their tiptoes to see the other town. But they face it in a way that actually they saw their own town. But they had no idea. And they said, the frog, who was a little bit moody, said, I knew you shouldn't follow the dreams. You see, your town is exactly like mine. The other one said, oh, how beautiful. It's so wonderful that you live in such a beautiful town as I live. So they decided to return their journey. And they spent their whole life. I don't know how long frogs live. Do you know how long frogs live? No idea. But what I know, what that lady told me, was that they lived a long, long life, frog life. And they were very, very old when they died. And they spread all over their town. That the other town was exactly the same as their town. So that's the story, John, and thank you so much for the picture, because remind me such a nice dream, but I have a problem.
But that's amazing that drawing was for you.
Yeah, but I have a problem because you gave me two, don't you? And you gave me another one that I really think is not for me, because I look, I cannot see. Maybe, Nabeela, do you think, Nabeela, that would you like to see?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to pass to you.
This would be amazing if this happened.
That's fantastic. I do recognise this picture. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm going to place this picture in this spot here so you can both see it as well. And I know exactly what this story is about. This story is also about two frogs. But there are Silver Frog and Golden Frog. Now, Silver Frog lives in Silver Country and Golden Frog lives in Golden Country. Everything in Silver Country is silver. They eat in the way, according to the Silver Book, according to their rules, they don't eat like Golden Country. They wear clothes just like Silver Frogs should. And everything they do is about in a silver manner, and everything that happens in the Golden Country is in the golden manner. And since they've been children, they've always heard stories about the Golden Country and the Silver Country, and what the Silver Frogs and the Golden Frogs did to them centuries and centuries ago, and how they don't really like them. They're very different to them, and they should be very careful if they're around them. And they've always known never to go near them and never to go to that country. And both of them, in their own way, are very ambitious little frogs. They like to eat all the usual thing that frogs do, but they like to experiment. So each week they toddle off to a slightly little bit further away from home to a new place. On this particular occasion, Silver Frog and Golden Frog climbed up a huge mountain. They found the tastiest snacks I absolutely loved the view. However, as they were busy eating, a tornado came and it wrapped them up, and it whirled and whirled and whirled and whirled and whirled and whirled, and it whirled so much they both thought it's never going to stop. Eventually, when it did stop, they both just looked like this picture. In the picture, you'll see Silver Frog sat by himself, surrounded by golden frogs. And he was terrified. He'd never seen golden frogs before. And he knew they didn't like him. And they were talking about him, and they were pointing fingers at him. And he was really scared. Until one of the frogs stood in front of the rest of the group, and he said something really calmly. And everybody went quiet. And he looked at Silver Frog and he pointed at him and said, "Follow me." And Silver Frog quickly followed him. Over the next coming weeks, Silver Frog and Gold Frog received the same treatment. They were looked after, they were given a home, they were shown how to hunt in the new place and find food, how to keep themselves protected. And they heard stories. They learnt that they picked up the new language and they heard stories. And what they heard was in the new homes that people would say, "Do you know the Silver Country? They don't like us, you know. For centuries and centuries, we've had wars, and remember this time and remember that time. And they're different to us, and they eat differently, and they dress differently, and their book is different to ours. And you need to be careful of them." But then they'd look at a Silver Frog, or they'd look at Golden Frog, and they'll say, "But not you, I don't mean you, not you, you know, generally, I mean." And it occurred to them, both of them. They thought, do you know, it doesn't seem to matter whether you live in Silver Country or if you live in Golden Country. There's always a few frogs that are scared, a few that are quite greedy, a few that want to be bossy and rule everybody. But generally, it makes no difference which part or which country you live in. Frogs are exactly the same.
Ah, very good, very good. That's a very good ending. Yeah, I like that one. Isn't it nice how they're all connected, these stories, and in such strange ways? I mean, and two frogs, and they're always resolved. Everything resolves in different ways. I really enjoyed both of those stories. I never heard them before.
Your dreams have been amazing. I mean, the drawings you've done are absolutely fantastic. How you managed to capture our dreams. It's amazing.
Universal mind. Maybe Anna knows. Everything's connected somewhere, isn't it, Anna?
Exactly. Yeah. I wish to have that skill, John, as well. The maximum that I can do after a dream is to write few words. And so beautiful that you've done all the images and the pictures. And I wonder how our dreams got to his head. That's a mystery.
You are powerful storytellers, clearly. When you dream, it reaches even me. And I'm a bit thick.
Well, we're really pleased it did, because the images you've created are just wonderful.
Thank you very much. I think that was so good, I'd like to do it again. What about you two?
Oh, please. Yes, yes.
Okay, it's a date. It's a date. Use two storytellers. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Nabeela.
Thank you. Well, thank you for helping me with my dreams.